Hey everybody, this is my guest, Punish Perfect Boxing. How are you today?
I'm good, thanks, mate. Yourself?
Not bad, not bad. As usual, boxing's been busy, especially last week. First of all, let's start with the big news. The FuryWhyte Purse Bid finally, Queensberry has put, won the Purse Bid with a massive $41 million offer, and outbidding Eddie Hearn. I think was it 27? They put on
31, I think it was.
31 million in dollars. And that's I think in pounds, that's 31 million pounds, and that's 20, I think 27 pounds for Eddie Hearn's offer. Were you surprised when you find out, one a bid Eddie, that big offer, historic, making offer?
Not surprised he outbid him necessarily, but I was surprised at how big the bid was. Um, I think of Fury White as a big fight, but not necessarily 42 million or whatever it was, 41 million. So I was surprised at the numbers, but I wasn't so surprised that Eddie Hearn sort of lost out on the bid. I thought he would bid enough for White to be happy, and then if anyone outbid them, they'd be happy with that.
You think this fight will struggle to make back the revenue needed to cover the costs of the purse?
Yeah,
It's going to be it's going to be a box office both on BT as well as ESPN in America, and ESPN is going to be like really late in the morning.
Yeah, I'm not sure to be honest. Like, I think in the UK, obviously, the gate will do well with the tickets. I think it will sell out any stadium they choose to have it at. It looks like Cardiff. I think they can sell that out. I think the pay-per-view in this country will do really well, but I think in America, I mean, Fury's got a bit of a name. Dillian White's not really known out there at all, apart from boxing fans. So I don't think it will do great out there. But I think here in the UK, it will do well, but not enough to cover that 41 million, I don't think.
Do you think it's a stadium fight? Do you think you can sell out the Principality Stadium? You can do 70,000.
Yeah, I think it will. I think it's a big enough fight. I think from conversations I've had with people, Dillian White can sell out the O2 on his own. I think Tyson Fury could probably sell out a little bit more than the O2 on his own. So I'd imagine put them together. I think it's quite a big fight.
Yeah, absolutely. And what's your situation regarding White silence? There's a lot of rumors saying that White might pull out. Why not really unhappy with the purse bid because he get, the 45-55 split he wanted. He wanted like 10 million, base salary. What do you think of the chances of White putting out the fight, not turning up into the press conference or not on the promoting the fight potentially?
Yeah, apparently he hasn't signed his contract yet. He's been completely silent. I read a thing today that whoever wins, they get a percentage of the purse. So I think for White, it would be like an extra 4 million if he was to win. I think for Fury, it works out like an extra 10 million. I think Dillian White wants that number to be higher. So if he wins, he gets a bigger portion of the purse. That's what I've read today, but I'm not really sure at the minute. I mean, he's fought tooth and nail to try and get this opportunity. If he wasn't to take it, I'd be surprised. And I think he's not going to get a payday this big elsewhere unless he goes to Saudi and fights Joshua or whatever, and there's a ridiculous contract. But in terms of what's on the table for him right now, he should be taking this fight.
Yeah, I think he worked so hard. He waited 1,000 days and more to get this world title shot. He really turned out an opportunity to fight Joshua at Wembley back in 2019, and he's
Mm,
getting his biggest payday of his career. Fighting the number one guy in the division. And potentially if he wins, he might get extra 10%. I heard
yeah,
whoever wins gets extra 10%. In revenue, in salary if the winner for the winner. So I
yeah.
can't see because if White turns opportunity, then who's it? Where's his road? What does he do? Does he try to get a rematch with Chisora for the third time? Parker. Where's he? Where does he go from here?
Absolutely. I'm not sure what on that. I don't know what the other option is for him. I mean, it's just there's no other opportunity that's available to him with Usyk and Joshua wrapping up those belts. Joyce is at the front of the queue with the WBO. Hergovich looks like he's the front of the queue with the IBF. Dubois and Bryan have been ordered for the WBA. Dillian White's got the perfect opportunity here, and I don't know what really is the hold-up.
Absolutely, absolutely. Absolutely. So, our percentages, how likely do you think it will happen? Are you 80% confident, 90% confident, 60-40, 50-50?
I'd say 60-40. I land more on the side of it will happen because I do think they'll come to a realization that it would be silly to not take this fight. But I don't know, the silence for me has been a bit weird. And also in heavyweight boxing, nothing seems to be straightforward, especially with Fury, especially with Whyte. So yeah, I'd say I feel like it does happen, but I'm also reserving judgment.
Absolutely. Yeah, I just can't wait for the press conference. Do you actually think that Eddie Hearn would turn up the press conference and Frank Warren and Eddie Hearn on the same table? That'd be historic.
Yeah, I hope so. But I did read a quote from Warren where he said the only person that could be present is Dillian White's lawyer. I don't know how true that is. So I don't know whether they'll try and block Eddie Hearn because, I mean, technically he has no involvement in the show. He's not part of, the promotional company that won the purse bids. He's not a part of the
Really?
broadcasters that have done.
I thought so. Is he not White's promoter, Eddie?
No,
Matchroom?
he's not. He's not signed to Dillian White in any capacity. He signs fight by fight deals with Eddie Hearn and Matchroom to take on a
Okay.
fight when he's offered it. But he isn't signed to like a 5-year deal or
Like
whatever. So
Joshua's lifetime, fight already. It's different, Okay. So he's like
yeah,
independent, like Canelo, fight by fight. He signs to do the highest bidder.
exactly.
Okay, okay. And in your gut feeling, does it happen in Wales or Crystal Stadium? Does it happen in Old Trafford? What do you think fight will happen?
Frank said it's going to be Cardiff, so I think that's what they've kind of set out. I think regardless of it being White, it did look like they were looking like Fury was going to fight there anyway. So yeah, I think Cardiff is one that makes sense. And if you're
Yeah,
going to pick a stadium in April, we never know what this lovely British weather can do. So
yeah, absolutely.
Cardiff's got a
Yeah,
got a
they got a
roof
roof.
on it, so
Absolutely.
makes sense.
Women's fight day is April the 23rd. That's what I've heard. That's the women's
Yeah,
fight day.
yeah, same
Okay.
as me.
That's fine. That's fine. And I was thinking now, pay-per-view buys. Do you think it will do 500,000, a million plus? Um,
So I think it will definitely exceed the 500,000. I'm not sure. I think 1 million is an awful lot of pay-per-view buys. I think it can do that. I think in the UK it will drive an awful lot. I think it will sort of be in between those numbers, but I think it can do upwards of 1 million. I think it's just how
yeah,
they sell it and
definitely.
how
If
they
the motor
promote it.
well and the press conferences are like electric, especially if John Fury turns up. If John Fury turns up, man, and has to go out, Dean or Dillian, that's gonna be magic. And
Yeah,
but
exactly.
no, because I imagine Shane Weary goes out of Dean White. Oh my God, those two.
Yeah, that's what
I,
we want to
I,
see.
I hope I hope the right John Fury to the press conference. Hopeful. I wish you never know. Maybe because
Yeah,
of what happened with Tommy Fury and Jake Paul. Maybe they might a lot BT might be more careful and bring John Fury to the press conference.
yeah,
Let's see.
exactly.
Is it next week that that we'll find out actual fight date in the venue? Is that next week we'll find out?
Well, so they can't do it until White signs the contract. So they've set out now that the WBC has said he has to sign the contract by February 21st. So he's got until then to sign the contract, but they can't announce a stadium, all the details without Dillian White signing that piece of paper. So not next week. It could be the week after. It may not happen at all.
Okay, February 21st is like that's like another 3 weeks. I think that's 3 weeks on a Monday.
Just under
Okay.
3 weeks.
We shall see. We shall see. Hopefully the fight happens because it'll be one of the biggest fights of the year and it'll be a good homecoming fight for Fury as well. Hasn't fought here in
Definitely.
like almost 4 years, so it'd be great. Anyways, regarding another fight that's been announced recently, and the undisputed and a long-awaited fight between Amanda Serrano and Katie Taylor. What do you think of that? April 30th,
Yeah, yeah,
Madison Square
massive fight.
Garden.
Biggest female fight of my lifetime.
Definitely.
Huge fight. Katie Taylor is the kind of leader of this generation in terms of women's boxing. It's so popular because of her. She's the driving force behind that. But whilst she was the one making it popular, Amanda Serrano was fighting on small hall shows for not a lot of money and achieving an awful lot, but not getting much recognition. And now she's got the opportunity that really would make her career probably exceed what Katie Taylor's done. It'll probably put her as the top of the pile as the top women fighter. And with Jake Paul involved, with Eddie Hearn involved, I think they've done a great job at making sure that both these fighters get their reward for this fight. Madison Square Garden, it's a massive opportunity. And I've been looking today. There's been a couple of fights announced for it as well, which look really big. So looking forward to it.
Yeah, definitely. This could be the biggest year in female boxing, in a long, long time, definitely. Because
Yeah.
Natasha Jonas is having she's fighting, for a world title under the Calm book on the card. Her third
Yeah.
world title attempt. She's been up, I think two weight classes up, trying for
Hmm.
the third time. And also, Ebony Bridges is fighting for world title as well. I mean, the
Yeah.
IBF welterweight title on the card for Kiko Martinez and Josh Warrington. So
Yeah.
definitely, a big year for women's boxing, and just hopefully it grows and grows. And
Definitely.
speaking about women's boxing, did you hear about Bob Arum's controversial comments about no one cares about women's boxing? I think
Yeah. I heard those comments. It doesn't surprise me. Bob Arum he's an old grumpy man at this point. I think he complains about a lot of things. I think he should. I kind of understand where his comment is coming from because female boxing just isn't as popular yet as men's boxing, but there was a way to voice it. He made it sound like people just don't care about it. Whereas what the truth is not enough people know about it, not enough people have been exposed to it. And he's got a great champion in Michaela Meyer and Hurst in his stable, who is unified champion at super featherweight, could become undisputed this year. If I was her hearing that, if your manager at work turned around and said to you that no one's interested in you, no one cares about the work that you do, then you'd feel some type of way. So I think Bob needs to realize
Yeah,
that
Bob
female
Arum,
boxing is only
absolutely.
going up.
Yeah, I think as well. He's annoyed about him clashing with his Oscar Wilde Shakur Stevenson fight because that's happened apparently April 30th as well. So it was annoying
Yeah,
though.
yeah,
I know that fight clashing with one of his big fights of the year, and also he's always notorious for this his fighters. He just Crawford for not bringing in the money. He wasted money, and Crawford as well, saying to
yeah,
sell tickets. So.
yeah. He just doesn't care at this point.
And anyways, another fight as well. So this weekend this is the first, I guess big fight in terms of in the UK, boxing, Chris Eubank, Junior versus Liam Williams. What do you think of that one?
Yeah, really good fight. I've been watching the gloves are off this evening and having a look at some of the interviews and stuff, and I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's a good competitive fight. Two guys that for me are not around a world level, just below. So they're quite evenly matched. I think Eubank's probably got a bit more. He's had a bit more pro experience at a higher level, but Liam Williams has got all round more of a background in the sport and a bit more pedigree. I think it's a good fight. I think their styles will gel quite nicely at some stage. I don't think it's necessarily going to be the war that people think it's going to be. I think Liam Williams is going to surprise us a little bit with his tactics with Adam Booth. But it's a really good fight, and one I'm glad didn't go on pay-per-view because they said about it going on pay-per-view, and I think a lot of people would have complained about the fight rather than acknowledging it's a really good fight. It's just not pay-per-view worthy. So now that we've got that out of the way, I think we can all concentrate on what's a good domestic matchup.
Yeah, how do you see that fight going? I think I see Eubank winning on points. That's my gut feeling.
Yeah, same with me. I think Liam Williams is going to surprise us with his tactics. I think he's going to be a bit more. I think the reason for getting with Adam Booth is he's a strategy type trainer. He tries to set out a game plan, a strict game plan. And I think Liam Williams won't be his typical self, his come forward aggressive approach. I think he will try to box early on, and I think he'll get the better of it early on. But as the fight sort of moves in, I think Chris Eubank will do enough to get himself a decision.
Absolutely, absolutely. Another fight, across Atlantic, Keith Herman's, a long way to come back against Maris, Barrios, unfortunate that fight's on pay-per-view. It was only a comeback fight, but it's on pay-per-view. Um, do you think Keith Herman has anything left? Do you think he's past it possibly, or?
I think he's past it physically, which is the main issue with me. Because Keith Thurman is someone he's not an elite boxer. He's not mentally skilled by any means, but he was a freak athlete and someone that he was able to win fights at welterweight off the basis of his explosion, his speed, his athleticism. And all of that seems to have gone, in my opinion. There were signs of it even before he had the hiatus, the Josecito Lopez fight. He'd been injured before that and had some inactivity, and he didn't look great. And then the Manny Pacquiao fight again got put down early, didn't look particularly sharp. He did come back into it a little bit, but just off will to win rather than his ability.
Yeah,
And now
it's
he's
been
had,
quite intact for the past 5 years since Danny Garcia, because he had a 2 year layoff after Danny Garcia had like a shoulder injury. Which he had,
yeah,
and he fought, had a comeback fight against, Josito Lopez and the fight Manny Pacquiao.
yeah.
So
If he was fighting anyone at a decent level, I'd probably pick him to lose this weekend. But Mario Barrios isn't even an elite light welterweight. He's certainly not an elite welterweight. So a prime Keith Thurman would have stopped and beaten up Barrios quite badly. Is he at least 60, 70% of that former Thurman? I'm not so sure, but I'm sure we'll find out this weekend. But I see a lot of similarities with David Haye and Keith Thurman, a really good athlete, but once your body betrays you, he won't be able to compete at a top level and he will start losing to guys lesser to him. David Haye lost to Tony Bellew when I think a prime David Haye would have won that quite comfortably. I sort of see something similar here where his body might just give up on him. But if he's at least got 80%, he can squeak out a points win.
Okay, so you don't think Furman can stop Barrios?
No, not unless he's suddenly recovered and the injuries haven't, gone away and he's got fitter. I just don't see it. I think his body's given up on him a little bit.
Okay. You gonna stay up or are you just gonna watching YouTube the next day?
So I will stay up because there's a DAZN card as well with Quadras against Rodriguez, which is a fight I'm looking forward to. So I'll probably choose that to watch. But I will tune into the Furman fight afterwards.
Okay. I'll definitely watch EubankWilliams, but I think Keith Thurman, Barrios Barbers. Let's just stay up. I'm 50-50, maybe. Might stay up. If not, I'll just watch on YouTube next
Yeah,
day. But yeah, look, yeah, just this month is it's definitely a good start to the year to the boxing because January was dead and boxers banned because of the COVID situation, and this weekend, the first week of the boxing, hopefully this goes up and up, and we see big things yeah.
definitely. Yeah, this weekend is the first real boxing weekend of the year, and I think February looks really good. March is starting to fill out, and April's looking even better. So yeah, let's get ready for it.
Absolutely, absolutely. In terms of fights, that's been asked. What's the fight looking forward to the most?
In terms of February, there's quite a lot of fights I'm looking forward to, but I think of just, stretching that conversation to March and April. I think Chocolatito versus Martinez is a really nice fight, a really surprising fight, one we weren't
Is
expecting.
that March the 5th? What day is that
Yeah,
one?
March the 5th in the zone. Obviously, Chocolatito against Estrada was a fight I absolutely
Yeah,
loved, and I
definitely.
wanted to see the trilogy, but to get a late replacement that's, just slightly a level below, but equally as exciting, I think is a good job to Eddie Hearn and DAZN. So I'm looking forward to that one. And then I think going into April, the Shakur versus Valdez fight, I know it's not been formally announced yet, but all roads lead to it being announced. I absolutely love that fight. I've been a long time admirer of Shakur Stevenson. I've said since he was a teenager that he would be the pound for pound future of boxing. And I think this is going to be much like Floyd Mayweather against Diego Corrales. I think
Yeah,
this is going to be that type of night for Shakur.
this will showcase to the world, what is he capable of, especially at world level, and if
Yeah,
he's the goods, the hype.
yeah. I think this is the one that puts him on the pound for pound list, the one that takes him up a notch.
Absolutely, and if I can, I think Shakur can actually stop Oscar Valdez. I think he's that good. I potentially can stop him.
Yeah, I can see it.
Yeah, I think that's all our topics today. Is there anything else we've missed off our list? I think we talked about
No,
it. Yeah.
I think we discussed some of the other fights last time as well. So yeah, covered everything.
Yeah. The main thing is we just gotta wait and see where the Fury, White, Purse Bid saga, goes and if that fight actually happens. If and hopefully it does. Hopefully White signs the paper and the fight gets announced. Because
Absolutely, yeah. Big British fight for me and you both. So yeah, hopefully.
absolutely. And if it happens, you thinking of attending? Will you attend?
No, I won't. I've been to a fight in Cardiff before at the stadium, one of AJ's fights, and it's a nightmare. I live near London, so like Cardiff is a million miles away, and yeah, it's just not the best venue for boxing. I find it's a bit of a horrible commute.
That's the stadium. Was that when AJ fought Parker?
Yeah, correct. Yeah,
He's also when he fought Carl Takam as well. So it's been a few big boxing fight events in that stadium.
yeah,
Okay. You've been to the bit stadium before?
yeah. So I've been there. I've been there for football before, but I went there for the Joshua Parker fight, and yeah, just found that bit of a nightmare. Like once you're trying to get home and everything, and yeah, it's just far away, and you get the best seat in front of your TV at home on the sofa, so I'll watch it there.
Okay, definitely. Okay. Me, I'm actually going to try to see it. I'm going to actually try to see it because I've never been to that stadium before. So I might just go for this opportunity to see a big fight. And I've never been to that stadium before. So
Yeah,
if it
really good
happens, I'll
atmosphere.
do my best to attend.
be a good atmosphere and yeah, big British fight. So you want to say that you've been there.
Absolutely historic, definitely. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Thanks for your time. Boxing. We shall see. We shall see. So this weekend, it's kicks off with Eubank and Chris Eubank Jr. Lee and Williams. Hopefully, that's becomes a good start to the boxing calendar. And we shall see with February and March and April. Boxing grows and grows, and hopefully continues.
Cool. Thanks, mate.
Take care, guys. Till next time.